Get moving. Experts recommend that to stay healthy and fit, you should get at least 20 minutes of exercise a day. Regular exercise, like running, builds strong bones and healthy hearts. David runs for half an hour every day. Today, he's really moving. He ran 4¼ miles. Yesterday was slower. He went only 3 2/5 miles. How many miles did he go in the 2 days combined? Add 4 1/4 to 3 2/5. To get the sum of mixed numbers, add the whole number parts and then the fraction parts. But we can't simply and directly add fractions with different denominators. We need to find a common denominator. The least common denominator is the least common multiple of the denominators. 20, the product of 4 and 5, is the lowest number that's a multiple of both. Multiply both the numerator and the denominator by the same number to get equivalent fractions with the least common denominator. Now add 4 5/20 to 3 8/20. In 2 days, David ran 7 13/20 miles. After a good workout, it's time to refuel. It's okay to stop by the bakery for a treat once in a while. The baker wants to make 14 loaves of bread, and each loaf uses 1 1/3 pound of dough. How much dough does the baker need? Multiply 14 by 1 1/3. To make it easier to multiply a whole number and a mixed number, we can convert both numbers into improper fractions. Those are fractions with numerators greater than or equal to their denominators. 14/1 is the equivalent of 14. 1 is 3/3. Add 1/3 to get 4/3, the equivalent of 1 1/3. Now multiply straight across to get 56/3. Convert this back to a mixed number by dividing 56 by 3. The baker must make 18 2/3 pounds of dough to get 14 loaves of bread. Now that's a lot of dough. Let's look at more examples of calculating with integers and rational numbers. Running is a great form of exercise. Almost anyone can do it. All you need is a good pair of shoes and a place to run. A park, a track, a treadmill, even stairs. Some people split up their workout, running in the morning to get their blood pumping and in the evening to unwind. Samantha ran 1 3/4 miles this morning and is going to run 2 1/2 miles this evening. How far will she run today? Add the two distances, 1 3/4 plus 2 1/2. To add mixed numbers, separately add the fraction parts and the whole number parts, then simplify. When fractions have different denominators, we need to find equivalent fractions with a common denominator. The least common denominator keeps it simpler. The least common denominator of 4 and 2 is 4. 1/2 is equivalent to 2/4. Now we can add 1 3/4 to 2 2/4. Remember, when we add fractions with common denominators, we only add the numerators. The denominators stay the same. 3/4 plus 2/4 equals 5/4, and 1 plus 2 is 3, for a total of 3 5/4. 5/4 is an improper fraction. The numerator is greater than the denominator. To convert this to a mixed number, divide the numerator by the denominator. 4 goes into 5 once, with 1 left over. So 5/4 equals 1 1/4. Now add that to 3 to get 4 1/4 miles, the total distance Samantha will run today. While running can be relaxing, driving can be aggravating. This morning, Carol was stuck in a traffic jam. It took her 2 1/4 hours to get to a meeting in a nearby town. Trying to avoid the traffic on the way home, she decided to take a shortcut and made the trip in 1 2/3 hours. How much quicker did she get home? Subtract 1 2/3 from 2 1/4 to find out. Subtract the fractional parts and the whole number parts, then simplify. Since we can't simply and directly subtract fractions with different denominators, we need to find a common denominator for the fractions. The least common denominator is simplest. What is the least number, other than 0, that is a multiple of both 3 and 4? 12. 3 times 4 is 12, and for these numbers, that's the least common multiple. So we multiply the numerator and denominator of 2/3 by 4 to get 8/12. Now the number is 1 8/12. 4 times 3 is 12, so multiply the numerator and denominator of 1/4 by 3 to get 3/12. Add the whole number 2, making it 2 3/12. 8 can't be subtracted from 3, so what do? Regroup. Take 1 from the whole number and convert it into the fraction, 12/12. Now, add that to the original fraction of 3/12 to get 1 15/12. 8 from 15 is 7, and 1 from 1 is 0. The answer is 7/12. Carol spent 7/12 of an hour less time driving home. A 1/12 of an hour is 5 minutes, so that's 35 minutes saved. That's more like it. At many businesses, employees earn vacation time based on the number of days they work. Here, employees earn 1 1/3 vacation days per month. After working 5.5 months, how many vacation days would an employee have earned? Multiply the number of months, 5.5, times the number of vacation days earned per month, 1 1/3. To multiply mixed numbers, it's easiest to convert them to fractions first. 5 is 10 halves. So 5.5 is 10 halves and 1/2, 11 halves. 1 is 3/3. 3/3 plus 1/3 is 4/3. Now we can get on with the multiplication. Multiply across, numerator times numerator, and denominator times denominator. 11 multiplied by 4 is 44, and 2 multiplied by 3 is 6, for 44/6. Now convert the answer back to a mixed number by dividing the numerator by the denominator. 6 goes into 44 7 times, leaving a remainder of 2. The remainder is the new numerator in the mixed number, giving us 7 2/6. 2 and 6 are both divisible by 2, so simplify 2/6 to 1/3. How many vacation days? 7 1/3. That's more than a full week on a tropical island vacation. Bakers work through the night so they'll have lots of fresh bread to sell in the morning. This bakery makes several different types of bread and baked goods, including challah. Traditionally served in Jewish and Eastern European homes, challah has become a big seller in American bakeries. Bakeries make lots of loaves at a time, so they mix huge batches of dough and divide them into the smaller, separate loaves. Here, they have 17 3/5 pounds of challah dough. Each loaf uses 1 1/10 pounds of dough. So how many loaves can the baker make from this batch of dough? Use division. 17 3/5 divided by 1 1/10. To make it easier to divide, convert these mixed numbers into fractions. For 17 3/5, multiply 17 by 5/5, the way to represent 1 with a denominator of 5, and add 3/5. 17 times 5/5 is 85/5. That plus 3/5 is 88/5. For 1 1/10, it's 10/10 plus 1/10, 11/10. Now, divide 88/5 by 11/10. Dividing by a fraction is the same as multiplying by its reciprocal. This means flip 11/10 to get 88/5 times 10/11. Multiply the numerators and the denominators. 88 times 10 equals 880, and 5 times 11 is 55, giving us 880 over 55. It's an improper fraction. The numerator is greater than or equal to the denominator. Convert this into a mixed number by dividing the numerator by the denominator. 880 divided by 55 is 16 times even. So with 17 3/5 pounds of dough, they can make 16 loaves of challah. I'll take 2.